Shirley?
That's right, Dan and Jackie. Youth violence in Shreveport isn't an overnight fix, as there is much work that needs to be done. And of course, some community support. 12,000 Shreveport residents have applied for the program, but only 110 families will be selected. Jackie, besides this amazing weather, here's another reason why where I'm at is better than sitting behind the anchor desk. Some would say this has been long overdue, and bettors can now download 6 sports wagering apps starting Friday. The historical building behind me burned down a little over a month ago. The owner of Sandbar, Tim Hugg, says nothing has changed except for these new added fences. The removal of the monument is an ongoing process, waiting for them to flip the switch for the lighting ceremony. So I'm going to step aside. 9 carjacking incidents, 8 are believed to involve the same carjackers. Shreveport police are encouraging the community to be aware of their surroundings.
This now live, sharing more on tonight's drawing and your slim odds of winning. Shirley?
Dan and Jackie, the odds of hitting the jackpot is extremely slim, according to experts, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't take your chances.
I am heartbroken by this decision, and I'm very disappointed by this decision.
After 4 days of testimony from 28 witnesses, all 4 Shreveport police officers charged in the death of Tommy McLaughlin are cleared.
We're all super happy. You know, this case should have never been prosecuted. These guys, all 4 of those officers, did their job the way they're trained.
That's not how the McLaughlin family sees it.
Not only have I lost my brother, but I've lost my sense of community. Those that are placed in a position to serve and protect, I no longer have trust in them at all.
For officers to be able to let a man die unresponsive in the back of the police car and walk away free and not being disciplined for it. So I just feel like it just set the bar higher for more corruption here in Shreveport.
McLaughlin, who was suffering a psychotic episode, died in the back seat of a Shreveport police vehicle after a struggle with the officers.
And this whole premise that he was left unattended for 45 minutes, which was the narrative not only throughout the state's prosecution, but through the media and social media, that was a false notion. That did not occur, and that's the shame of it. These officers were drugged through the mud for almost 2 years.
Of course, our hearts go out to Mr. McLaughlin's family. His death is tragic, but as Mr. Wells said in his opening statement, it was misplaced blame. These officers did not do anything wrong, and we're happy that they will be, or that they have been acquitted at this point.
Oh boy. Police!
Prosecutors argue the officers who had encountered McLaughlin previously in the day used excessive force and then failed to get him medical help, a combination of factors that led to his death.
None of the state's medical experts testified or could establish a cause of death, and they eliminated everything that the officers did. They eliminated the strikes to get him in compliance. They eliminated the use of baton. They eliminated even the positioning in the vehicle.
But the family's attorney says the fight isn't quite over yet.
We are going to continue to pursue this matter in the civil courts and seek justice. We are not giving up.
18-year-old Tyler Poland wants to make a difference in his hometown of Shreveport, so he applied to the Future Leaders of Shreveport Summer Internship Program, working with the IT department.
I enjoy it. Every day I come in here, I'm always learning.
He's part of the team building the city street cameras for the Real-Time Crime Center.
Seeing them drill through metal and caulk it back up and do water tests and make sure the electricity is all working inside the internals, and when there's something broke, they open it back up and they fix it and they get it prepped again.
Then the IT software intern takes it from there.
And I download all the software that it needs, update it, install it, do all the things I need to. After that, I seal it up, let it run for a little while, test it out, and after a while, I'll be able to access it from our database map, and I can see the cameras from any of the current nodes that are up and running.
Keith Hansen is the Chief Technology Officer for the City of Shreveport. He says most of these cameras were ready to go, but they had some cables hanging outside of them and needed further testing.
Starting out from nothing to getting to the point where they've retrofitted almost 80 cameras so far and have only like 10 left.
I'm glad I was given the opportunity to lead these young IT professionals in the beginning of their career, and I see a bright future for them and a bright future for Shreveport as a whole.
These interns could not be more proud.
I made all the software for it, I ran it, I tested it, I did everything that went into putting this node up on this pole and making Shreveport safer.
I just hope that I can do my job so that, I can help the community out.
Meet Parker and Oliver. They're both 18-month-old twin boys, but one is slightly different than the other.
Oliver was born with trisomy 21, which is Down syndrome, and he had 2 heart defects, so he had 2 different holes in his heart. That was the first time I held them.
Born 5 weeks early in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, Oliver had an open heart surgery at just 6 weeks old.
He's very strong.
This is a picture of Oliver in April, marking his 1-year heart repair. Oliver's mom, Kelsey Schwab, submitted it to the National Down Syndrome Society, and it was chosen to be featured on the Jumbotron in Times Square on Saturday.
And we had, I think this year, close to over 2,500 submissions that are sent through of photos of their loved ones with Down syndrome. And we have to narrow that down to 500, which is very challenging and very difficult to do.
And we're not trying to say that we're special or anything. A lot of Down syndrome parents have similar issues. So we feel very lucky that this opportunity came our way.
Especially after a very tough year.
A reward, I guess, for having gone through what we had to go through.
The parents can finally breathe a sigh of relief.
Now that he's just healthy and happy.
Realizing Oliver isn't that much different after all.
The blessing that goes along with it is it may not be what you want, but it is definitely what you need.
$700 million is the new Powerball jackpot, the largest grand prize of the year.
It actually ranks as the 5th largest jackpot in the history of the game.
And the 8th largest jackpot in U.S. lottery history. Experts say the odds of matching all 6 numbers is extremely slim. Actually, you would have a better chance of making a half-court shot. Or
being struck by lightning twice in the same year.
But that's not going to keep people away. Just last week, sales were at more than $2.4 million in Louisiana.
Where it's at 700,000, and it tells you that if you wanted to get...
It's really supposed to be just a form of entertainment. It costs $2 to play. It's a novelty, right? So we like to, and it's a game. So keep it fun by playing responsibly.
You got a $2 one? Well, I didn't really know how much it was. I know it was more than I have.
And with today's current inflation, those who are planning to buy a stack of tickets every week might have to cut back.
The chances that there aren't or will not be a winner for the $700 million is pretty high. But of course, that just means that next week you have the conversation about an $850 million jackpot.
While this may be true, it only takes one to win.
Odds are very slim and none, but if I don't get a ticket, I won't win at all.
I just think it's a crying shame. We used to come watch A-Train and a lot of bands here on the weekends, and it was a great time and a fun place and a really cool building. It was a really neat structure.
And now that building, a cast iron column built roughly in the 1800s, has been obliterated due to a blazing fire that took place Wednesday evening.
That building is gone. That building cannot be rehabilitated. There is not enough left.
But it did not stop people from coming by and even taking a piece of history with them.
The city will have to pull an emergency demolition order. A portion of the wall that is still remaining will have to come down because it is dangerous. I don't know what's going to happen to the facade, but my guess is it will have to come down as well.
There were 32 units and about 50 firefighters called to bring the blaze under control. The Shreveport Fire Department says it was dangerous.
At the end of the day, my job is to make sure the citizens and the firefighters are safe.
This building was fought as an exterior only. We did not put firefighters inside of this structure. It was already unsound. With knowing and riding the district, we knew that this was a unsafe structure for firefighters to be entering, so we made sure that they all stayed outside of the structure.
As the flames continued to spread, the old Chicago nightclub next door sustained heavy fire damage, and many other buildings like the Sandbar.
And so firefighters were on the roof of Sandbar spraying that part of it and got that fire out immediately. And the building next door to us, which is vacant, Ambers had gotten in there and caught it on fire. So by about 6:20, you had fires on both sides of the building.
He says the vacant building has been neglected for years.
You hate to say tear a building down, but before you put all these businesses and lives in danger, it's kind of a difficult thing to leave these buildings up when they're not safe.
And while some may be ready to move on,
when you have buildings, you have the opportunities for offices, for apartments, for commercial, for retail, for all sorts of things. It's far better than just having a vacant lot, or it's far better than just having a pile of bricks.
Others just might want to hold on.
I'm just really disappointed. It's just a loss for Shreveport. It brings back a lot of memories of things that went on there and people that went out there and friends that you knew back in the day. And I don't know what they're going to do with that space. They're not going to be able to rebuild it, so it's too bad.
In a matter of 4 days, there have been 9 carjacking incidents, and some are just minutes apart. Shreveport police say most of these incidents are being done by the same 3 individuals.
They try to shroud their faces for the most part.
Just this Thursday morning, there were 3 carjacking incidents alone. Police believe the one on Irvin Place may be unrelated to the string of carjackings, though they won't completely rule it out.
Older black male took a Chevy Equinox. That Chevy Equinox was recovered and that black male was arrested.
Wilhite says the carjackers are all armed, carrying AR-type pistols.
That is a handgun that shoots a rifle caliber cartridge. Very dangerous weapon.
Wilhite says it is important to be aware of your surroundings.
We've seen them follow vehicles into parking lots. We've seen them crouch beside vehicles in parking lots. We encourage people look before you enter a parking lot, look all around. You'll know, you get those gut feelings about things that aren't right.
She also says carjackers are committing this type of crime for a reason.
There has to be something that they're wanting to gain out of it. We don't yet know what that is. We will find out when we catch them, and we will catch them.
The violence here in Shreveport.
It is what sparked Martha Tyler, the mother of 5, to start a Peace and Unity Walk in hopes it can maybe inspire people, especially the youth, to put the guns down.
Moms can make a lot of things happen. So I've grouped a like-minded group of women that want to see a change in Shreveport.
The group is made of 20 women. Some of them are mothers who have lost a child to gun violence, but there are others who simply want to offer a shoulder to lean on.
Anytime you hear a mom that done lost a child, or you hear a cry out, "Oh, my child," it's like, oh my Lord. It's like it's stuck there. So, and we talk each other through it.
Wendy Benjamin has lost 2 of her sons to gun violence in 2008 and 2016.
For moms on a mission, it's like, oh wow. It's like she's an angel. They stepped in when we needed them.
Moms on a Mission is here for the long run, and we want to continue to support the youth. We want to continue to make positive changes in Shreveport.
With one mother at a time.
If one person will reach one person, you never know how far it'll go.